What is energy? Many people hear this and they think it's like woo woo, or they don't really get it, or they have all this skepticism and judgment around it because they think it's just some spiritual term of something that's not real. But I'm going to explain how is energy real and how we can understand it in a physical way, how it's able to make changes and help people and heal people, and what is energy at its fundamental level. So energy is basically vibration, frequency, and it can be measured by physical instruments. You can measure the vibration and frequency of something. You can measure the vibration and frequency of your emotions. Kind of so-called negative emotions have a low frequency. You can measure that. It's a small number. It's a low frequency. You can measure the vibration of love and joy and compassion, and those have a high frequency. It's a high number when you measure the frequency of it. So that's what energy is. Energy is just vibration and frequency. And you can measure the frequency of anything, because everything that's physical is made of the subatomic particles called atoms, which are pure energy. And what appears as physical material, as like something hard that you can touch, is really just a fraction of a percentage of the atom is what you see, and all the rest is pure energy. So that's what energy is. And when someone does quote unquote energy healing, what they're doing is they're tapping into a higher level of consciousness. And what does it mean to tap into a higher level of consciousness? Through meditation, quieting the mind, getting your brain waves to a calmer state. Brain waves, you can describe the wavelength of the brain activity, like when you're thinking, you're in beta. It's the name of the brain wave, the activity of the brain wave. Beta, when you're calmer, you go into alpha state. You can measure the brain wave, and as soon as you go into like a guided visualization, your brain will slow down and go into alpha waves. And when you get into a very, very deep state, it's theta waves. So from these relaxed states of mind, you can connect to altered states of consciousness. That's where meditation becomes a big thing, and just kind of going deep and quieting the mind and reaching this quieter, deeper state of mind, the state of consciousness. And from there, then you can channel so-called energy, which is really just vibrations and frequencies. Like as soon as a healer, you can study the frequency and vibration of a healer, and as soon as a healer goes into their healing mode and they're channeling healing energy, then you can sense the electromagnetic field around them getting stronger, and you can measure this. You can just notice all these physiological changes happening in their body, and even studies have shown that the person receiving the healing can be in the other room. Like space and distance isn't a factor. That's why distance healing can work too. The person receiving the healing can be in another room, and you can study and measure as soon as the healing starts physiological changes in their body, and their electromagnetic field too. So how is it that regardless of distance, someone is able to receive this healing energy and have physiological changes happening in their body? Is because if you study the fundamental particles of physical reality, the atoms, the behavior of subatomic particles, this is quantum physics, distance is an illusion. If you have two quantum particles, subatomic particles that are entangled, and it doesn't matter the distance that you can put them on the other ends of the universe, once they're entangled, they're going to show the same results, regardless of the distance. And so it's not a matter of information traveling through a distance and how is it that it's traveling that fast. It's instantaneous. There's no delay, and it's as if the distance didn't even exist. There is no distance. The distance is the illusion of this reality made of subatomic particles, creating this so-called perception of distance and physical reality, which is actually just pure energy. So that's why you can connect to these altered states of consciousness and channel energy, which is really just connecting to something deeper and bringing that through as a physical manifestation, which can be measured, and it can be directed towards someone, and they can experience their own changes in their body, but because it all is ultimately energy and consciousness, everyone has free will. If someone wants to not be healed, they can resist whatever healing is being directed towards them, and they can stay exactly where they are. And it's a choice of whether you want to heal and whether you want to actually allow yourself to heal through the help of this energy being directed towards you, or not. So that in a nutshell is energy explained, to where you can understand it physically, scientifically, and know that it's not, people call it placebo, but what even is placebo? Placebo is believing that something is going to work, and then you see the physical results of it working. So what is that? It's consciousness, it's belief. It's our whole experience of physical reality is a projection of our own consciousness. So if we believe that this is going to happen, then that is what is going to happen, because it's being reflected back to us. That's also what quantum physics shows, is that every subatomic particle that everything in physical reality is made of, exists in simultaneous infinite possibilities, and the only reason we see this one fixed reality is because we're observing it. The observer, the consciousness, observes something and it becomes real. So this is all a projection of your consciousness as a result of your observation, but without your conscious observation, it exists in simultaneous possibilities in existences. So that's what placebo is. You believe that you're going to see this, so you'll see it. And that's where manifestation comes from, law of attraction, because law of attraction isn't like, oh, your thoughts create your reality. It's what you believe will happen. You can think like over and over again something, but if you don't really believe it, you're not going to manifest that into your reality. And what is manifestation? It's the projection from your consciousness of the fixed reality that you see based on quantum physics as the observer. So that's why those are even concepts. Law of attraction and manifestation is all this reflection back to you of what's ultimately coming out of what you believe will happen, which is placebo. So yeah, if you want to call energy healing placebo, well, you as the recipient of the healing and enabling yourself to heal by accepting this higher level energy, this higher vibration, this higher frequency to bring your body and your system back to balance, to enable your body's innate healing capacities to kick in, and restore balance, because our bodies naturally heal ourselves. You get a cut, it heals. You're hurt emotionally, you heal. It may take a while because the left brain tries to judge the situation and say it's not fair or whatever. But if it weren't for the judgment, then emotions would process and release. Like, in terms of emotions, studies have done someone who had their left brain knocked out due to a stroke. You can study that any emotion that you experience is experienced for 90 seconds, and then it's processed and released. You never have to relive that trauma, that emotion, that experience. The only reason why we relive traumas and these emotions that keep being brought up is because of the left brain and analyzing the situation and judging it. Otherwise, the emotion would just take 90 seconds, be processed through your system, and it's processed. It's no longer a stuck trauma. And that's what healing is releasing traumas. It's being able to move to a place of reliving and replaying and getting re-triggered to accepting it and letting it release, to heal it. So those are our innate healing abilities that our system already has, but it gets knocked out of balance from our stressful environments, from our traumas, from our judgments of our situations and all of that. And what healing energy is it just enables you to reach a higher vibration so that your own system and your body and your energetic field, we all have an electromagnetic energetic field around us. You can measure that through instruments that we have. You can measure with your you can put your hand on a voltmeter and measure the millivolts going through your body. So we have this electromagnetic field around us, and that's what people call auras, is this field that you can measure. It's energy, electromagnetic energy, and that's the field around us. So we have this capacity to heal ourselves, and we can use this higher vibration energy being directed towards us, which is being directed by the healer, which is being channeled from their altered states of consciousness once they quiet their mind and tune in to that higher vibration and directed towards you. Then you, in terms of placebo, if you want to believe that it will work, then by you believing that it will work, you're enabling that energy to you're accepting that energy, and you're enabling it to come through you and allow your system to restore its innate healing capacities, because it's restoring balance, it's restoring that high vibrational functionality that got knocked off balance from your experiences